With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
For me, it's listening to our players and listening to our coaches and taking feedback. And certainly as you get later in the year, you're cutting practice time and you're employing a few more walkthroughs and you're being strategic about those things. But I think it has to be guided by your players.
As your team gets to the middle part of the season, it's definitely time to be in tune with what they're feeling physically as the reps and the physicality of the season takes its toll. We're long past the days of grinding a team down with practices loaded with hitting and excessive running. We have all kinds of technology to help with that, but more than anything, we need to be in sync with our players. It allows us to better understand what reps to give them in practice and how to scale back or how to push them when necessary. Today we talk with two coaches who have their teams performing well. Tiffin University comes into the week at 3-0, receiving votes in the D2 AFCA poll and breaking some school records early in the 2023 season. And Lubbock Christian is 4-0 and first in their district in Texas. Today we share their philosophy and approach to keeping their team healthy and performing optimally as the season rolls on. What you see on tape is a direct reflection of what you teach and how you teach. Video is important, but if you don't teach well, you're not going to like what you see on your video. First Down Playbook has been helping coaches teach better for 13 years. It allows you to present installs, playbooks, and practice cards in half the time with NFL quality. Coaching tools like video pairing, a player app, practice schedules, and wristband sheets have made First Down Playbook a program management system with everything in one place. If you're in a position of leadership with your football program, receive a free 1-week look at First Down Playbook. Call them at 512-814-6158 or visit them on their website or social media. Mention Coach and Coordinator Podcast or use the coupon code COACH24 to receive a $100 discount off the normal $700 First Down Playbook team membership price. Links and the phone number are in the show notes. As coaches, we know that some of the biggest hurdles to our team's success can come from off the field. Your team needs support to tackle the endless list of expenses, uniforms, training equipment, travel, and more. But raising that money can feel like a full-time job. Thankfully, there's Vertical Raise. Vertical Raise is the premier online fundraising platform using innovative technology to create the easiest and most efficient system available. Raise more money in less time with a local fundraising coach who works with your team every step of the way to customize the ideal fundraiser. With options for online donations, digital discount cards, premium product sales, and even spirit shops, Vertical Raise has top-of-the-line solutions for every fundraising style. To find out more, visit verticalraise.com and we'll get you connected with an exclusive offer on your first fundraiser. First up is Tiffin University head coach Cris Reisert. He talks about how the workload is guided by their players. They take an approach where all players are suited up and practicing, but they understand when to pull back on reps.
Yeah, I think it's much like we had talked about where you're listening to some of that data, but more importantly, I think it's about, just kind of listening to the players too. How do they feel? Some guys that are maybe playing a little bit more and getting a heavier load. Where are they at? How does their body feel? We do a recovery workout on Sunday to make sure that we're getting some of that soreness and some of that fatigue out of their bodies and getting ready for the next week. But I think as a coach, one of the most important things you can do is just listen to your players. And if there is that trust built up where, a kid's a tough kid, he wants to fight through it and he's being honest with you, then being able to take that feedback and really employ it. I think as coaches, sometimes it's like, well, we have one set way and this is why we're doing it and this is how we're going to do it. And for me, it's, listening to our players and listening to our coaches and taking feedback. And certainly as you get later in the year, you're cutting practice time and you're employing a few more walkthroughs and you're being strategic about those things. But I think that has to be guided by your players. The one thing that we have here is that, we're never going to not allow a guy to practice. Our best players, our guys that are taking the most load, our guys that are maybe the sorest, they're always going to suit up. They're going to be in full pads. They're going to take reps. But we may slightly diminish some of those reps, and some of the reps later in the season might be more mentally focused driven. But I think it sends a message to your entire team that every single guy, regardless of how they feel, is going to suit up, be fully suited and ready to go through it. We've all been places where, the best player gets sore and maybe doesn't do as much later in the year. I think that sends a really bad message to your football team. And we try and stay away from that to make sure all guys are treated the same, whether it's week 1 or week 15.
Next, we talk with Chris Softley, head coach of TAP's defending state champion, Lubbock Christian. He talks about what they do to give their players a physical and mental edge in both their design of the practice week as well as their strength and conditioning program. He shares the details of how they get it done.
I always have heard coaches say, the worst thing somebody can say about your team is that they're soft. And I disagree. I think the worst thing you can say about a team is, man, they'd be really good if all those injured guys were healthy. And so what you're asking is extremely important, is how do we get them healthy? How do we maintain the strength and the range of motion, the flexibility throughout the season so that they're at their best week 10, Friday night? And it comes down to the practice plan. And so we lift really hard during the year. I think that's important to do. And so we'll do 4 lifting programs throughout the week. And that's a lot more than a typical Texas high school football team will do. And I think that gives our kids, a mental advantage, but also helps our bodies sustain the blows that come with the season, is because they're still growing and developing. The other thing, though, is how we practice. And so we go shells Monday and Tuesday. We don't go full pads when it comes to the season. Again, the two-way players and just the lack of depth. And then we go Wednesday. Wednesday is helmets, and it's 12 periods long. That's it. We spend a lot of time in the film room and doing some team bonding on Wednesday. And then Thursday we go back to shells, but it's real quick again. It's that fastball practice that Chip Kelly used to talk about. It's 12 periods as well. So when you think about it, we probably practice less than anybody else because, again, we're doing offense and defense in the same day. But what we're doing in the film room and what we're doing in between the ears allows us to play fast for Friday night. Plus, like we started with, if our best are healthy, then we're putting ourselves in the best position to be successful for Friday night. So that, I think, it has to be a strength when you're a two-way team, is you've got to find a way to have an appropriate assessment for your kids. You have to know their fatigue meters, and you've got to be able to adjust accordingly to make sure they're ready to go for Fridays.
Now, you mentioned the lifting being an important part of it. What does the schedule look like for you guys during the week for your strength and conditioning?
We are Monday during the athletic period. We're Tuesday during the athletic period. Then we game day lift here, something we started about 5 years ago. I believe in it. It's not a heavy lift, but it's a big range of motion lift. It also gets the boys out of the classroom. I remember what it was like being a high school kid and sitting with a restless leg the whole day, like just waiting for 7 p.m. By the time 7 p.m. comes around, I don't feel very explosive. I'm really lethargic, and it's like, what's going on? I've been waiting for this. Well, I think getting a kid to release some energy, to sweat, to have a little bit of a cleanse, I think it also clears their mind. And so our kids are fully brainwashed and convinced that game day lifting is the way to go. So we'll do a game day lift, and then we'll lift pretty heavy squat on the day after a game. So Saturday mornings, we bring them in for a quick hour. We flush, range of motion exercise, and then have a pretty heavy leg lift day. And again, it not only is the physical training that we're doing, but I believe fully in the mental training that it does. Our kids believe they have an edge when they are deadlifting and squatting heavy during game week, even when it's district and it's playoffs.
I've definitely heard of the game day lift before. The approach certainly is a little bit different. What does that game day lift look like for you guys?
So we turn the music up loud. We put our workout program up on a screen. We've worked hand in hand with Rack Performance to build some workouts and some timing segments. And so it's high energy. It's a lot of body weight. We do bench on that day, and we do overhead squat, but those are low rep and really just big on the range of motion. We want to make sure that they get triple extension. We want to make sure that they're doing multi-joint movements, and we want to make sure that we hit everything. And so big, long warm-up, and then big range of motion activities that we go through, the total body workout, and then get them out to lunch and on with their day.
And I'm assuming it's as far as the weight, it's not a heavy load day.
Right. Most of it's body weight. And we actually tell them we're not even going to assign you the weights. And what we're doing is we're just going to trust you. How does your body feel today? I think as a coach, we need to really be adaptable. We talked about this with the fatigue question, is we need to give our kids some of the keys to be able to drive the vehicle of our team this year. And so one of the ways we do that is we tell them, look, you decide. Do you want to do 135 or do you want to do the bar or do you want to do 235? That's up to you. How do you feel today? Because as the season goes on, everybody has different bumps and bruises depending upon their nutrition and the position they play and how much sleep they get. So we want to give them that freedom where you decide today what would be the appropriate amount of weight for you to lift so that you're at your best come 7 p.m.
Thank you for tuning in to Coaching Coordinator. We appreciate your support and will continue to bring you ideas and insight that can help you all season long. Be sure to sign up for a weekly tip sheet at coachingcoordinator.com to get a rundown of the ideas shared each week.